Alright, is that focus on me? Yes, focus? No? Anyway. Well, perfect. Uh, exactly what we're talking about. We are talking about The Invisible Man 2020, directed by Leigh Whannell. So, here we are again, Universal's trying to kind of like reboot, redo, do all that shit, because when The Mummy, when that happened, I think they decided to be like, you know what, instead of trying to start this dark universe, their own MCU kind of thing, they're like, let's maybe we should take it one step at a time, as everyone was saying. Maybe they should have done it. Oh my god. So Invisible Man, of course, as always, anytime anything is, remotely Universal Monsters related and they try to redo it, I'm always just like, especially after The Mummy, because Wolfman was alright, Dracula Untold was like, I have questions, The Mummy was... That's what I have to say. And then with this one, initially, just not really, I don't think I really saw the trailer, but just, I guess you would say, like, images and stuff alone, it felt like Hollow Man, and I mentioned that in, my, what do you call it? But, whatever, what was the last movie I watched? Yeah, so that one, yeah, is in my pocket. Receipts, yes, that's what you do as an adult. So you can tell I left the house because I have eyebrows, even though I'm wearing the same t-shirt as last time. But anyway, so, words and phrases. It felt like Hollow Man initially, like I said, just look at it alone. Again, it just looked like Elizabeth Moss was just losing her mind kind of stuff. But I like how, with this movie, I enjoyed it a lot. I very much did. With this movie, it's kind of, it feels, again, it does feel like the other, not the original Invisible Man, but it does feel like, not exactly, but kind of how Hollow Man was, and then kind of like a smidge of the original Invisible Man, because this is like, it's like the woman's perspective of it, because, the original Universal Monster, I was in Hollow Man, geez, Invisible Man. It's just, I love how it's like, oh, I drank this thingy, and, I'm invisible now. Time for world domination. And it was like, what? I was like, bro, what? I'm invisible now, alright, I guess. And then with something like Hollow Man, it was just like, I'm a scientist, I'm Kevin Bacon. I'm trying to, like, do a thing for science reasons. And then he becomes invisible, and then he's like, I'm gonna kill everyone I worked with. And it's funny because the Invisible Man in this one is like, he's like a tech guy. So it's like if Tony Stark kept being evil and was abusive fuck. Although there's like internet threads about how like Tony Stark is abusive because of, anyway, we're not gonna go into that, but you know what I mean. And so, you're watching it, like I said, from a woman's perspective. It's just like, it's Elizabeth Moss just, God. Obviously, you feel terrible for her, and, like, to be very honest, just 30 minutes into the movie, I was like, ooh, oh, Mama's getting some triggered with some PTSD. Ooh, it was hitting a little too close to home for me, I'm just saying. I like that the movie just starts off with her just escaping her relationship. I like that it didn't have to explain. Like, I like that you didn't have to deal with, like, 15 to 20 minutes of the guy being like, like showing, like, why this guy's an asshole. And because I feel like that, I feel like, as much as it's good to give a backstory, all that stuff, I feel like whenever that does happen, goddamn this house, whenever that does happen, it also, like, they either go way too extreme, or they sugarcoat it too much with the backstory of the abusive boyfriend kind of thing. And it causes like an argument of dialogue saying like, well, maybe she would have listened to him, or like, well, she should have just left, or like, you're watching and you're like, bitch, leave, Whereas this movie starts off and it is bitch, leave, I like that they, the smart story writing, as I've mentioned with a lot of these movies that's come out this year, there's good writing, and then there's like, okay, you know, stop the, don't pull the Lodge shit with me, but you know what I'm saying, like again, just show me, don't tell me movie, just do it. I like that it just starts off, boom, you're in the movie, you're in that dude's house, she's getting the fuck out, she's got her to-go bag, she's out, boom, boom, boom. I like that, you know, yes, there are things like, oh my gosh, she kicked the dog dish, fuck, you know. Although, when she kicked the dog dish, I would have just been like, ugh, and I would have just started running. I'm like, no, because you're running away from your abuser, get the fuck out, you know. And then the fact that she was like in the kitchen, just like, let me put on some pants. No, bitch. Like, I would have been like out the door as I'm like, yes, he lives in like a gated thing, but I would have been like, you know, out of the house and like on the grass, like, you know, trying to like put on pants and shit, you know, and then leaving that. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Again, can't really be too mad at her and all that stuff. I wish she had taken the dog initially, you know. Obviously, this is not a spoiler-free review, but I wish she had taken the dog initially, but I get it, you know, but anyway, yeah, so I like that it was like that. I like that it also was like, you know, it did the little jump in time, you know, where she's staying at, like, the friend's house, and, again, movie's really good at show me, don't tell me kind of stuff. I like that the guy she was staying with wasn't like, well, you have to understand me. I, as a cop, like, I like that they didn't have to, like, verbally establish that. Because you just saw him, like, you know, at first you're like, oh, he's got a dress shirt, you know, and or whatever. Like, oh, is he working in an office? But then, like, a wide shot, you see he's got, you know, like, his badge and his gun. And so you immediately know, okay, he's a cop, you know? So it's like, that's how you fucking do it, you know? Don't pull, like, you know, the whole, like, us as siblings, have a drink with me here, you know, like, what's that, the Grudge thing where Mandy was like, you know, as your mother who is also a cop, like, why did you have to fucking say that, like, just show me. Anyway, so, like I said, I really enjoyed this movie a lot. Like I said, at times it hit a little too close to home, but it was fine because that's, like, the sad reality is that it has to be a little too uncomfortable for, you know, for them to get the point across, you know, of course. You know, getting away from the abusive boyfriend, her feeling like she's out of it, but he's still, like, around, even though he had killed himself, you know, that kind of feel. I'm watching it, and I'm like, look, and I'm like, texting Paul, I'm like, so, and, you know, he had already watched the movie, I was like, so, you know, and he's like, yeah, he's like, I get it, and I'm like, you know, watching it and all that stuff, and it's a smart way to do something like Invisible Man, you know? And I hate the stupid reviews I saw where people were like, oh, I saw him, he was invisible the whole time, and it's like, oh my god. Like, I hate that shit where it's like, oh, you're so funny. You're so funny. It's like when I worked retail and something didn't ring up and someone goes, does that mean I get it for free? It's like, fuck out of here. Like, I fucking hate those people. Does that mean it's free? Yeah. Anyway, I like, you know, oh my god, I like that. I'm glad that they didn't kill off the friend that she was with the black guy. Because I was like, come on, we can't have, like, horror films, you gotta kill off the black guy. Especially, but, like, him being black or not, because we also know that in horror films, it's like, well, if you're a person of color, or you're, you know, you know, again, the sound, oh, that's outside, I thought it was coming from inside the house. Anyway, also, it's like, whenever a character is, like, helping the main character, that person always dies, and you're like, ugh! And again, I know this is Leigh Whannell, so he's a lot smarter than that, and he's not gonna do cliche shit, you know, because him and James Wan are fucking smart at that, but at the same time, you know, because this isn't, like, one of their original films, it's, you know, taken from a already established character, so I'm like, but thank God, no, because I was like, please, no, just don't kill the black guy, just stop, you know, but yeah, like, there was a lot of moments in the movie where things were very believable. There are also, like, yes, there are moments where, you know, the audience knows you know, Elizabeth Moss's character is telling the truth. So you know a lot of times when the other characters aren't believing her, but it also, it's, it goes true to a degree. It's not like, oh god, I'm not making any sense. It's not like other movies where it's like literally things will happen for them. You're like, wait a second, I don't think so. And you're like, you just got slapped by nothing in front of you, you know? And they're still like, I don't know. There's a gust of wind. Like all this, like, you know, God, there's so much shit in my pocket. You know, like that kind of thing. I'm glad here it's like, yes, you initially, like the little girl initially thought that Elizabeth Moss, you know, like slapped her. Understandable, you know, because you are the only two in the fucking room, you know? But then, like, you know, when she saw her dad get picked up by nothing and get beaten, and he's being beaten, you know, it's like, you know, you gotta believe her and all that stuff. You know, just, I don't know. This was also the movie that I was, like, waiting for the price to go down, because it was, like, the whole, like, get it for $20. I was like, I'm at home. Like, I'm not gonna do $20. I don't have a physical copy of it. Like, even me buying, like, the Blu-ray of it isn't $20, you know? Like, the Blu-ray with digital, I think even if it comes with the DVD, it's not even $20, you know what I'm saying? So I waited till, like, what was it? It was either at the end of May or beginning of June or whatever. It was going to go down to, like, the price that's at, which is the normal rental of $5.99. Then, of course, you know, all hell broke loose at the end of May and beginning of June. So a lot of movies I was watching was pushed off to the side for, you know, taking care of people in our world rather than, like, who's going to do reviews when, you know, people are being shot on the street. But anyway, yeah, so I'm glad that they decided, you know, to, like, you know, do a rental price that was reasonable. But anyway, yeah, so with the movie, like, again, it was like 2 hours plus, like, a little over. It didn't feel like that, although watching it, I was like, oh, I'm just reliving trauma, this is great. But also, besides that, it's like, obviously you're with her the entire time, but, like, the progression, it didn't do the thing of, like, it took too long for people to believe her, you know, that kind of stuff. It made sense. It didn't, like, wildly jump either, because a lot of these movies where it's like, please believe me kind of movies, it goes from, like, I can't eat, like, stop, you're being hysterical, because again, you're a woman, to all of a sudden, like, we've gotta go, I've got a bunker, and it's always like, what? Like, it's like, okay, bro, you know, the idea that the Invisible Man is invisible because he has, like, this kind of, like, tech suit that, oh, God, if you have, like, trypophobia, that was getting me, too. It's like, I was being, you know, like, attacked on so many ends here. I was very offended by this movie. Because the suit, I was like, oh, God, it's just, and it's like, and I was like, well, I'm uncomfortable. I'm like, so many ways of uncomfortable watching the movie. Thank you, Leigh Whannell. And it's like, okay, he did the tech stuff. What else I was going to say? Also, I saw that, okay, so the guy who plays the Invisible Man is the British dude, very tall, dude who was in The Haunting of Hill House. He's one of the twins, you know, and I saw that they either wanted him to play, obviously, or they wanted Armie Hammer or Alexander Skarsgård. So very much they wanted very tall, white men with, like, light eyes, you know, like that, you know, pretty much what they got. Like, they wanted the very, very tall man kind of thing, which I get, because especially if you're going to be, like, invisible and stuff, I guess a height could also be, you know, scary and whatever shit. I was going to say something else. One thing I thought was weird is that the fact that, like, I don't know if he was just that strong of a dude because he's so tall and big and stuff, or was it that, like, the invisible suit gives him extra strength, because when they were at, like, the psych hospital, and, you know, like, when he was just invisible, like, fucking up all the guards and stuff, like, he would literally just, like, you know, break their hand and, or, like, maybe it's just the shock of the guards not understanding why their hands are being, you know, like, turned towards them that made them weak. I don't know, it's just, like, that I thought was weird. I was just like, I'm gonna have, you know, kind of, you know, extra strength, I was about to say tough acting, tenactin, that's where I'm at, because of the suit. That was one thing where I was like, that's a little strange, you know, but other than that, yeah, like I said, I really like this movie. The effects they did was really, really good. What was the other thing? I like that again, directed by Leigh Whannell, so he used some of the camera stylization that he did with Upgrade. Obviously, Upgrade's a very stylized movie, so, you know, when Doom was doing the flips, the camera was going with it. But I like that at times the camera was going with the action, and I like that, you know, there's like, you know, again, there's right and wrong way, you know, storytelling, and then there's how to film an action sequence. And it's definitely, he didn't do like the first Hunger Games movie where it was just like, and you're like, what? What's going on? You know, or the Marvel way of shooting an action scene, which is cut, 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 cut. You know, was it like Taken 2 or 3, where it was like 13 different shots to have Liam Neeson like hop a fence. You know, you know, like, oh my god, like all those cuts. I'm like, the editor's just like, just like that. It sounds like the editor the entire time doing this shit. But here, it's like you're going literally with the flow of like the fight and going in and out, you know, like even if there is a cut, even if there's a cut or an edit, it's not jarring. It's not like, God, ha. Please. What is that? Sorry. I'm like, recently cleaned my room again, and I'm like, what are these things here? Anyway, yeah, so, oh man, when she finds out that he was like living in like when he was like in the attic, oh man, was it like, you know, you read those stories where it's like, oh yeah, you noticed that like your food, like what was it, like this man or this woman was noticing like food going missing in her apartment even though she's the only one living there, and then it was like they set up a camera one day, they noticed like, you know, someone was in their attic or some shit. Like it's like an irrational fear of mine of someone, especially now, being, you know, staying at home, and like no one else is in this house besides, you know, my mom and I, but I'm always just like, there's someone else here. It's just like, even though I've gone through the entire house to clean, I'm like, someone's, you know, that got me. I was like, oh god, you know, what else is, like, it's a good movie, so I don't know what else to say, but yeah, it's really good. The ending was great. Oh my god, fuck yeah, you know. It might come off as like ridiculous, but like with like a story that, especially like with the main character who you've been with since the beginning of the film, you want her to like win, you know. You don't want the abuser to win, you know. Like, you also don't want like it to like have not a cliffhanger but like a sequel. But like the worst thing is these kind of things where it's like, he's now in jail, and it's like, no, I don't care about that, you know. Especially if the guy's like rich, you know, so you know it's like, he's in jail, and then as the movie ends, it's like, he just posted bail, and it's like, you know, it's like, no, kill the motherfucker, you know. Yeah, he's dead, bye. Okay, you know, you don't know, like, when the movie ends, you don't know if she had gotten an abortion. You don't know if she got it before she met up with him or afterwards. That was also something, oh my god, the pregnancy thing was also like, oh my god, that's scary. Like, have the abuser's baby thing. Oh my god, I was like, oh god, too many episodes of Law and Order for that. But I get it, she's in a psych ward, so of course, like, they don't allow her to choose, you know. But it's also like, oh my god. You know, I don't know. The movie ends, you don't know. She probably did because she's like, I don't want this. I don't fucking, you know. But anywho, yeah, Invisible Man. I don't know why I keep talking. It's good. I really liked it. Probably was at Target was at Target today. Maybe I should have bought it. What the hell's wrong with me? But anyway, that was good shit. And again, it's Leigh Whannell. So him, I was worried initially to think that when him and James Wan like split to do their own thing, I was like, oh no. But I'm like, fuck, yeah, keep going at this, Leigh Whannell. Oof, burpage. Nope. Okay, it's still there. Alright, bye.